And Tidewater is a private utility, so you have a regulated margin, regulated profit margin by the PSC.
Right.
What is the benefit to the taxpayer on this type of plant?
Well, it's a direct and clear benefit. No taxpayer money will be used for it. We completely fund it through our own financing, meaning the company. We're a publicly traded company. Our parent company, Middlesex Water, is well respected. It's a 113-year-old company, very well respected in the financial community, gets its own financing. We get funds from developers who will benefit from it, and certainly from directly from customers. And we don't need taxpayer money. We're regulated by the Public Service Commission. Users pay, and the partners, meaning the developers and the company, are the ones who finance the bulk of the capital that goes in for the
So the benefit
service.
goes to just the users of the plant, and there is no obligation for the general public to pay for the plant.
Correct. Well, the way I would look at it, having been in government for 2/3 of my career, was that if we can provide the same service that government can without using government money, the government money then can be placed and used at places where there is no private financing. We can do this here, and it happens to be in an area where we can expand and serve, and it's directly needed in the inland bays.
I think this is a very important point, and it's one of the principles of the Eden Project. We believe that it is no longer sustainable to solve environmental problems by putting a hand out to government and say, if you only pay this much more, we can solve it. Part of the solution has to come with economic and practical business models, like this one, where essentially the benefit is going to the farmer, he gets economic benefits, the benefit is going to the ratepayer, and there is no liability for the general public.
Correct.
The project is in the middle of the sewer franchise for Sussex County. That must have been a little bit of a difficult situation. How did you work that out?
Well, it started out that we thought we could actually join forces with the county and have a contractual or other relationship. The county, to their benefit, had already done quite a bit of planning on what they call their Angola Sewer District and planning area. By the time we were ready to go, what we ended up doing was agree that in certain areas nearby where we could serve and had franchises where we were obligated to serve, we would not conflict with them. We would serve only those areas that they can't or weren't going to serve, and they would serve areas where we can't or weren't obligated to serve. And so we have an arrangement that we hope can advance in the future, because this area is in great need of sewers. DNREC regulations are going to require replacement and upgrades of septic systems. There may be areas nearby where the county can't affordably serve, and maybe we can. And we think we have an open door that we can work with the county and vice versa, where we can serve each other's areas in a more effective way.
That's great. What has been the public reaction to this project?
Well, it depends on who you ask in the public. Surprisingly, and this is ironic because I have spent quite a few years dealing with the public process in environmental processes in Delaware, the neighborhood where the facility will be located seems to support this. In fact, the direct neighbors directly support it. As you get further away, and as people haven't really focused on the specific studies that we've done on that site, people in their defense who haven't really studied the amount of work that we've spent over $1.25 million analyzing the site, looking at all of the soils, all of the water table, all of the analyses. As you get further away, the perception is that we're going to put in a treatment plant that's going to dispose of raw waste into an open pit, and that's what a rapid infiltration bed is. It couldn't be further from the truth. This will, when we're done, be probably one of the most advanced treatment plants on the East Coast.
And how do you get over that misinformation?
Well, one way is to do interviews like this. Another way is to make sure that the science is well known by the decision makers. In this case, it's DNREC. A year ago, it was Sussex County Council, who voted unanimously to approve the conditional use for the site. So if we can get before the decision makers and get before the people who right now are fearful because they don't quite understand all of the work that we've done to prove that this is a good site for not just a treatment plant, but for disposal. For example, that the water table is 21 feet deep in this part of Sussex County. So there is no, even if there were no high level of treatment, which we do have, we have 21 feet of soils also before it hits the water table, and that the migration from the site to the surface waters could be decades. Now, if you don't understand, you haven't done the research, haven't looked at the science, you would think that once we take the waste, we treat it poorly, dump it on the land, it's going to show up in Love Creek next week. It couldn't be further from the truth.
So it sounds like, as with any public utility project, and I mean a utility project in the public eye, there's controversy. But you're confident that the controversy will be resolved by the science. You're confident in the science.
If it was left completely up to the science, there would be no controversy. The science that is proven by the team that we have assembled, the best in the state, in fact, some of them, these are regional, if not national experts, unequivocally proves that this is one of the best sites for this kind of disposal on the East Coast, certainly in Delaware. But I am respectful of the fact that this is a public process. I was a public official for many years. I understand that public reaction is important, and we don't want to force something down people's throats. We want people to embrace it. I'm very proud of it. I lived for 10 years about 1 mile from this site. I've lived in Sussex County for 35 years. My kids went to school in Sussex County. I want to be able to be proud of this site, and I know I will be if I'm able to build it in about 2 or 3 years. And I'd love to have some of the critics who right now don't completely understand what they're going to see come and visit the site and say, my goodness, this is exactly what you predicted, and it's an award-winning, environmentally successful site for this project.
So if we can summarize the benefits of the plant to the environment, to the county, to the ratepayers, and the farmers, how would you state that?
Well, let me start with the big picture first. From an environmental perspective, this is the ultimate completing the circle of water and a precious resource. You start with water, you use it, you clean it up, you bring it back to the site, clean it, put it back in the ground so it can be used again. This is a circle, and it's part of what everybody understands in a way in their grammar school teachings about the hydrologic cycle. For the farmers, not just this farmer, but other farmers, it's taking the water and using it as opposed to disposing of it in streams or oceans or bays or any other place where it can't be used again. We're keeping it right there where it started, and we're keeping it on a site. Farmers also benefit because they're not having to worry about selling land or stripping off parcels to get some kind of money, cash flow into their pockets. We're also saving the state money because we're not using any taxpayer funds. And if that same farm asked to be in farmland preservation, there would be public funds used.
Right.
We're providing farmland preservation by having a revenue stream that is self-sustaining because the customers are paying. Ratepayers are protected because we're regulated by the Public Service Commission. Our company is better off because we're having a more efficient operation that saves costs and money. We'll be considered the regional best treatment system, so others will come to us instead of our competition. It's good for the water, it's good for the environment, it's good for the earth.
So this is a prime example of what we call the green circle at the Eden Project. You're taking a product which has been called waste, it's been called sewage. You're recovering it in such a state where it is now a valuable product to the farmers, and it's a valuable product to the environment, goes back in the ground, and completes the circle. It sounds like a good thing.
We think so, and we're putting a lot into it, not just investing resources, but our own reputation, and I'm standing by it. I know if we get a chance to build it, we'll be proved right.